Well, there's a new report that's just been released this week, which measures how much New Zealanders trust the media. If it was a report card that I was taking home from primary school for my parents to see as an 8 or 9-year-old, I'd probably eat it on the way home so they wouldn't see it. It confirms what probably many of you are feeling about the news media, but wonder if you're the only one who's frustrated. Well, you're not. Let's check it out. So this is the fourth report about trust in news in Aotearoa, New Zealand, produced by the AUT Research Centre for Journalism, Media and Democracy. And it's in collaboration with the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism. And it's based on a survey of 11 questions, most of which mirror those asked by the Reuters Institute in its annual international survey. And in 2022, the Reuters Institute conducted a survey of 46 countries across Europe, Americas, Asia Pacific and Africa, and our international comparisons about news interest, news avoidance, consumption, trust and news payments are made against this group. So we can see how we're doing compared to the rest of the world. And in 2023, the survey just done, 15 New Zealand news brands were included in the study, and the survey was carried out in February of this year. So let's have a look at the results. In 2020, 53% of us, just over half, trusted news in general. This year, the same figure has plummeted to 42%. That's a significant drop. Almost 6 in 10 New Zealanders don't trust the news in general. And even for news that we consume and go to first, which you'd think you trust slightly because that's why you go to it, the trust is only just over half, down from 62%. Now, how does this compare internationally? Well, the report says trust in news in New Zealand has fallen continuously, whereas in comparable markets, it has somewhat fluctuated. Here's the graph. Approximately 42% on average of those surveyed said they trusted most news most of the time. So 42% across the world. That's the average. But the survey found big differences between countries. Out the left there, trust in the news was highest in Finland, 69%, Portugal, South Africa and Netherlands, whereas trust in news in the US fell to the lowest level the survey has recorded, 26% out the right there. But as you can see, we're not doing too well. In fact, we're just on the average of 42%. And the survey also found that this was a new question, the proportion of news consumers who say they avoid news, often or sometimes, has increased sharply across countries, and guess who's at the top? Yep, New Zealand. In fact, as I said, it was the first time that Kiwis had been asked this question. Approximately 69% of those surveyed said that they actively avoid news, either often, 11%, or sometimes or occasionally, 58%. You know those times where you just don't want to watch the news. I know that feeling. And for those who are highly interested in the news, so they said, are you highly interested in the news? We're not. We're at the bottom. It seems that news media in New Zealand is a big turn-off compared to other countries. In fact, a 2022 Pew study also revealed that in the United States, adults under 30 are now almost as likely to trust information from social media sites as they are to trust information from national news outlets. Whew, the disinformation project are going to be beside themselves with that information, although maybe they should focus more on the mainstream media for disinformation and misinformation based on this report. Because in terms of trust, the report says all the major news brands saw substantial declines in trust in 2023 when compared to previous years. All brands included in our survey dropped in trust scores. Let's have a look at that. And you'll see the brands there down the left. And if you look out the right, look for the drop. They're all negative. So all have dropped in trust. And all the big players with over 10% drop. Radio New Zealand, News Talk ZB, although I'd say that's mainly their newsroom. Māori TV, the spin-off, no surprises there. Stuff, no surprises there. New Zealand Herald, well, maybe that's because of some of their columnists. News Hub, ODT and TVNZ. It's not a great report card, is it? But here's the key graph in my view. Reasons not to trust the news. And here's the top 3. The reporting in the news is biased and not balanced. News is too much a result of the political leaning of the newsroom. The news is too opinionated and lacks factual information. But also note the 5th one down. 61% say government financial support for the media in New Zealand means you cannot trust journalists. Wow. Look, much of this decline is happening because many Kiwis can see for themselves the extreme bias coming from what appears to be an increasingly woke media and their selective use of information to support certain progressive agendas. And many people also believe the media has become a marketing and PR department for the government and are compromised by the government funding. You can see that in the survey. 61% of us are concerned about that. Instead of reporting the news and presenting the facts and allowing people to make up their minds, the media has increasingly become activists, pushing opinions instead of facts, trying to control the narrative. And as you know, we've proved that through our analyses of recent social debates on, for example, the conversion therapy law, the cannabis debate, the Roe v. Wade decision, and also the recent coverage of the protest on Parliament grounds. Unfortunately, the media did not cover themselves in glory with their poor coverage on all of those important social issues. Look, bottom line, we deserve better. This report should actually be a wake-up call to the media if they want to avoid going bust, as sadly TodayFM has just done. But I suspect it won't be, and we all lose because of that.